Everybody talk about new year, new me, talk about this new version of themselves, but most people don't need a new version. They need to stop abandoning the version they were always meant to be. You don't need reinvention. You need a reunion with yourself. Most people aren't stuck because they lack discipline or motivation. They're stuck because they keep negotiating with their calling. You already know what feels right. You already know what drains you. And you already know when something or someone shrinks your spirit. That pressure you feel, that's not stress. That's misalignment trying to get your attention. Delete them old text messages and photos of EMCs. Stop looking back. Ain't no U-turn. Pick one area a day. When your physical space is clean, your mind can finally breathe. You think clearer. You make better decisions. You feel more in control. Create some distance from people who drain you. Now that's the hard part. Let's talk. If you've been feeling stuck, discouraged, or disconnected from the version of you that you know exists, this episode is for you. Because the woman you're trying to become isn't missing. She's just buried under a mindset you had to build to survive. Today, we're going to start digging her out, gently, but for real. Welcome to my channel. I'm Patty the Connector, the problem solver queen. And this is your safe space for reinvention, confidence, faith, and the soft life you've earned. People see this version of me now, polished, intentional, confident, but they don't always know the process it took to become her. And I'm going to share that with you because my life changed forever when I was 18, when I lost my mom. One moment, I was a college girl trying to figure out my major, and the next, I was standing in a world that no longer felt safe. I was grieving, I was heartbroken, I was homeless, and suddenly just trying to navigate life alone with no guidance and without a safety net. And I remember a few months after my mom passed, life hit me again. And I remember falling asleep and my mom came to me in a dream and she told me she was coming back. I was like, girl, where they do that at? Baby, I went to the doctor so fast the next day and that's how I found out I was pregnant. So imagine that, 19 years old, I'm still a baby myself. I'm still trying to figure out how to breathe without the woman who raised me. And because I didn't want my child born out of wedlock, I made a decision. I thought I was doing the right thing. I got married young, but I wanted to create stability so bad. And I wanted a family that I didn't have growing up. So I wanted something that felt safe, but that marriage wasn't healthy. And over time, I learned you can want the right things and still choose them from an unhealed place. And by 2014, I made the hardest and best decision of my life. I made a decision that forced me to grow emotionally and spiritually. I chose myself. I chose peace. I chose the version of me I kept abandoning. And that's when reinvention started. I rebuilt my life as a woman, as a mother, as a leader, piece by piece. Not perfectly, not overnight, but intentionally. And now I use what I've learned to help people rise, rebuild, and walk boldly into the life they deserve. So if you're ready emotionally, mentally, and financially to step into your next level, welcome home, sis. And listen, when I say welcome home, I mean welcome back to you. I want to talk about the mindset shift because it was my mindset that changed in order for me to build into the woman that I am today. So let me tell you what mindset really is, because I think we misuse that word. Mindset is not motivation. Mindset is not positive vibes. Mindset is the decision you make before your feelings show up. Because life doesn't wait until you feel ready. And your future doesn't respond to intentions. Your future responds to patterns. So you have to make a decision to rise, a decision to grow, and a decision to start repeating patterns that are destroying the future God is trying to give you. So one of the things I do every night is I listen to Napoleon Hill because I'm serious about rewiring my own mind. And one line that stopped me in my tracks is when he said, live as if failure were impossible. Oof. Not in a delusional way, but in a commitment way. Because imagine how you would move if you truly believe you were supported by God, supported by purpose, supported by the version of you that refused to quit. You will stop shrinking, huh? You will stop negotiating with the version of yourself that's addicted to survival. You will stop entertaining what keeps you small. And then I heard something else that hit me even harder. He said, every word you speak carries a consequence, and every decision you delay carries a cost. Oof. That line made me sit with myself because it reminded me that there's a version of you watching you, your younger self, still wondering if greatness is possible. Your future self, maybe your children, your niece, your little cousin, them, quietly watching how you handle pressure, hoping, does strength still exist in women? Or maybe a future leader waiting for someone to rise so she can believe again. Sis, this world has enough women who drift, enough women who wait, enough women who ask for permission to become who they already are. But you were called to stand apart. You were called to act like your obedience to purpose determines whether 1,000 other women rise. And guess what? It does. So no, this isn't poetry. This practice. Because when you rise, you give other people permission to rise. When you choose yourself, you break generational hesitation. And when you commit, you change what's possible for your whole bloodline. So I want to get practical because I'm not here for a motivational moment. I'm here for a mindset shift you can actually live. So I want to talk to you about 5 steps you can take right now that's going to help you shift your mindset. That first step is to sit with the truth of where you are. So sis, this first step is hard, but you do hard things. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You cannot reinvent a life you're still lying to yourself about. So sitting with the truth means being honest about where you are, not where you want to be, not where you pretend to be, but where you actually are. And I know how uncomfortable that feels because when I was on the brink of divorce, I was embarrassed. Not because I didn't know it was the right decision now, but because something I wanted so badly had failed. I wanted that family. I wanted stability. I wanted that dream, that fairy tale we be playing in our head. But if I'm being honest, that marriage wasn't healthy. It took me out. The lies, the cheating, the emotional weight. And I remember standing in the mirror one day and not even recognizing the woman looking back at me. Sis was tired, okay? She was drained. She had to let herself go emotionally. And I said to myself, this is not who you're going to carry forward forever. This moment wasn't comfortable, but it was necessary because you cannot heal in the same environment that broke you. Now, here's where I want to pause because this matters. Your truth moment doesn't always come when something explodes. Sometimes it comes quietly, and sometimes the truth isn't loud. Sometimes you just look at your life and realize, I'm not okay with this being my normal. So your truth moment might look like maybe you're constantly overwhelmed and pretending that you're fine. Maybe you keep attracting the same kind of relationship or staying in a relationship you've outgrown, losing yourself in motherhood, or you're emotionally exhausted from overgiving. You're working a job that drains you, or you constantly feeling behind. Or maybe you're surviving financially and you're tired of living tight. Or you're in a season where your confidence is low and you miss yourself. Or you're just stuck in indecision and it's making you feel powerless. I said all that to say, whatever it is, you gotta name it because you cannot fix what you refuse to face. So here's what sitting with the truth looks like in real life. And this is something you can actually do today. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to name it out loud. This is where I am, and this is not where I'm staying. Say it, because your nervous system needs to hear your voice take authority. The second thing I want you to do is write it down. Okay, look, sis, don't be extra. You don't need no diary. You don't need no long paragraph, okay? Just 5 bullet points. Just answer the question. Where am I really in my life? What am I avoiding? What am I tolerating that's draining me? What no longer aligns with who I'm becoming? What do I actually want? Because once it's on paper, you can't lie to yourself anymore. And third, make one decision that honors your future, not your fear. Now, not 5, not 10, just one. And I want you to remember, small, honest decisions create big life change. For me, that decision was working out. Not only because I wanted to lose weight, but because the gym became that one place where I could think clearly. It was a place where I could breathe, decompress, and reconnect with myself. That was my therapy. And that's where I processed my life in real time. So your one thing could be as simple as maybe you walk, maybe you setting a boundary, prayer in your car, maybe you cleaning your space, you're sending that email. Remember, small moves build big lives. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be honest. This is where I am, and this is not where I'm staying. So I want you to reflect on this. What truth have you been avoiding because it's uncomfortable? If this episode gave you some sort of relief, clarity, or language for what you've been feeling, send it to someone you love and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We're taking this one step at a time with clarity, intention, faith, and grace. I'll see you at the next episode.